Hi, welcome to Chatterboxing. My name's Sean. Going to talk about the Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton fight Saturday night. Talk about what happens after it, and the situation with Carl Frampton and Guillermo Rigondeaux. Is he ducking him, etc. We'll start with the fight. I'm not going to go into it too much because it was Saturday night. I'm sure you've heard a few accounts of it. Um, I was going to make the video yesterday, but I was out all day, so I didn't really have time. But yeah, it went pretty much exactly as I thought it would do. Um, Leo Santa Cruz tried to impose his work rate and his intensity on Frampton, um, and I didn't think he'd be able to do it. I thought Frampton would be too elusive. I thought his movement would be too good. I thought he'd give him too many different looks, too many angles, confuse him, and also deter him with like hard punches that he didn't really see coming, mixing them up. The left hook, like he was catching him with a left hook all night long. That was like his favourite, the best one. I mean, he bashed him up like to the body, pushed him back, really made him think twice. To be fair to Santa Cruz, he still, kept coming. He was still throwing a lot of punches, but he was missing a lot. Um, he did like adapt quite well, I would say, Santa Cruz. I mean, he wasn't. He learned pretty. He realised quite early that he wasn't just going to come in and just steamroll him with just barrages of punches. He started trying to place his shots a bit better, um, and it was a very close fight. I mean, in the second round, he got kind of put in his place a little bit with that. He knew from there that Frampton could hit hard and he could catch him and possibly knock him out. I mean, he wasn't particularly hurt, but he was stunned and he would have fallen over if it wasn't for the ropes. So he'd hit him a few times before then, like quite solid, but that one, then he realised, I'm going to have to be a bit more cautious with this bloke. I can't just steamroll him. But yeah, great fight. Credit to both of them. I don't see how Santa Cruz's stock would have gone down after this. For me, I think he put on a very good show. He just fought someone better than him. There's no shame in losing to the better man. He tried hard. He did what he normally does, albeit at a slightly slower pace. But that's what happens when you step up in class. I thought that Santa Cruz would. I mean, he's never really fought anyone like Frampton. So that's the reason why I thought that his normal style wouldn't be that effective. Not the style wouldn't be that effective, but he wouldn't be able to utilize it as effectively as he normally does. Um, he kind of after the fight he made a bit of a silly comment, I think, about the crowd. He was saying, "Oh well, I think basically like the judges were influenced by the fans, and I've come here, so like next time we should do it in LA." I don't know if he thinks that Frampton's from New York. I'm sure that he realizes that he's not even from the same continent. Um, so, those fans he was talking about making a noise came over from Ireland. So, if his fans, who are from the same country, really, um, couldn't come over and do the same thing, well, boo hoo, mate. You know what I mean? That's not really anything to be particularly hard done, but feel particularly hard done by. Um, and in any case, I watched the fight on TV um, with I could hear the crowd, but it certainly wasn't influencing my take on the fight. And you clearly lost. It was a close fight and a competitive fight. Well, more competitive than close. You did well, but you lost clearly. So that comment about like the fact that now we should have it in LA, New York is in America. I mean, as far as I don't know if I don't know if he's from Mexico or from New York or from LA or from California. But in any case, he lives in America. So, I mean, it's not a small country, America, so it's the other side of it. So, yeah, you had to travel a little bit, and it wasn't like familiar, but it's not the same as coming over from Ireland, across the ocean. So, it just isn't. So, if you think that was the case, then if you think the fans were loud there, then you wait till you go to Belfast, which is where the rematch would definitely be. But, you know, to be fair to Santa Cruz, he just lost. He just lost the fight. Just lost his unbeaten record. Lost his world title. It was a good fight. So he was obviously a bit disappointed. Nobody likes to lose. So, you know, I'm not going to be too hard on him for that comment. We've all come out with the odd silly comment from time to time. I know I have. I'm sure everyone watching this video has. So yeah, I'm not going to be too hard on him for that. Just wanted to comment on it. Um, right, I'll talk now about the situation, what Carl Frampton does now, and Guillermo Rigondeaux. This situation, like, kind of hanging over him. Um, is Carl Frampton, or has Carl Frampton been ducking Guillermo Rigondeaux? Well, the simple answer to that is yes. He was in the same weight division or weight class as him for a while. Guillermo Rigondeaux is widely considered to be the best in that division. By Frampton himself, he's acknowledged that he's the best. So the fact that he didn't fight him, I mean, at the very least, you can say he avoided him, and his team certainly weren't very keen to make the fight. Um, why that is the case, I don't know. Well, one thing I would say, the Quigg Frampton fight that they had recently, that they didn't want to jeopardise that. They're super bantamweights. Traditionally, at least in the UK, super bantamweights don't make that much money. Um, this was an opportunity for them to make serious money, which possibly may not have come around again. It may do, but looking like historically, it doesn't. The only person of that size, really, in the UK who's ever made a lot of money that I can really think of, Prince Nassim. Prince Nassim is, you know, he's such a character, he's such an entertainer, and he's such a unique fighter and personality that he kind of, you can't really compare him to anyone else because there's no one like Prince Nassim. Everyone knew who he was. He was one of the biggest um, celebrities, really, in Britain during his peak. Definitely like sportsman, and for someone of that, from a lower weight class, who no one really knew any of his opponents, and he was making a lot of money, you know, that's not the norm. But as I say, Prince Nassim is a very unique character. So yeah, they had the opportunity to make the money, they didn't want to jeopardise it. Then Frampton, by default, has ended up with Rigo as his mandatory because he wanted the Scott Quigg fight. So he's now in a position where he's been struggling to make the weight. He wasn't really performing that well. I mean, you can see the difference in him in this fight. Like, he just looked a lot stronger. He looked and had a lot more energy. He kept up with Leo Santa Cruz's work rate, albeit like slightly slowed him down, but he managed to maintain that work rate that he very unlikely wouldn't have been able to had he been like having to lose more weight and like expend a lot more energy in the preparation for it. So he wanted to move up, and then he's got this opportunity to basically fight. He can sort of move up to a more comfortable weight, earn a lot more money, and take on a very, very tough challenge in an unbeaten world champion, who pretty much everyone, like, I mean, I didn't, but like most people were tipping Leo Santa Cruz to win. So yeah, he's technically ducked Rigondeaux, but I think he had a choice between these two fights, two very difficult fights, and he took the one that suited him best. So yeah, technically it was you could say it's a duck, but I personally don't really see it as a particularly like sort of cowardly move to go up and be like a big underdog against someone in their own country, um, back to back, like unbeaten challenger. I mean, he fought before that Scott Quigg, unbeaten. Yeah, you could say he's a bit of a paper champion, to be honest, because obviously he was the regular WBA. Rigo was the real champion. So yeah, Scott Quigg was a paper champion, but he was still a very good fighter, very solid, undefeated, and it's a tough challenge to go and take him on in Manchester, where he's from. So yeah, he did that, and that's what happened. However, we've got the situation now where people are saying that you've been ducking Rigondeaux. I would agree that you've been avoiding him. Um, let's say it needs to be addressed, this situation, because rightly or wrongly, people, it's not good, mate, for your image. It doesn't look too good. People are always going to be hanging over you. Um, so I think this situation needs to be addressed. One thing I would say though, I think it's very disappointing that Rigondeaux signed with Rock Nation when he could have signed with, well, as far as I know, he could have signed with Al Heyman. Now, Al Heyman makes a lot of fights happen. Uh, he puts the money in himself. He pays them. He makes people offers. He makes things happen. Like, if someone can tell me, give me an example, then I don't know of any examples of where Rock Nation or Rigondeaux's team have made anyone any offers. I mean, if you put yourself in the situation, well, so if you look at the situation now, what's going to happen with Frampton? Probably the obvious next opponent will be Lee Selby, unbeaten world champion from the UK. Eddie Hearn will say, right, Eddie Hearn or Al Heyman, because they work with both of them. Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman will say, right, here's a load of money. Well, Eddie Hearn probably, because it will be in the UK, will say, right, here's a load of money. Here's an actual offer, not me just sort of saying on Twitter about, here's an actual contract. This is what we're going to pay you. This is where the fight's going to take place against Lee Selby. That's what will be on the table from one side. My suspicion is, from Rock Nation, based on what I've seen so far, or what I haven't seen so far, is that there won't be any actual offer for Frampton. So what does that mean? Well, is he then supposed to? They're supposed to sort of pay Rigondeaux loads of money, and he's going to be. They have to do the show. Is that how it's supposed to work? I don't really get it. With if you compare Golovkin to Rigondeaux, both of them have a lot of people supposedly avoided them. I use the word suppose. I accept the fact that there are a lot of people avoiding them. But K2 and Golovkin's promoters, they're making offers to people. I mean, they make whether we think or the people think that it's a good offer or a bad offer, they're at least proactively trying to do something. It's not like Golovkin is there on Twitter making comments about Billy Joe Saunders. He's making them an offer. The promotion, the lawyers, the accountants, whoever is involved says this is the offer. So you are avoiding, rightly or wrongly, depending. I mean, he might think it's not good enough. He might be terrified. I mean, whatever. There's an offer on the table. So what I would like to see from Rigondeaux's team is put an offer, because I want to see the fight. Definitely, I definitely want to see the fight. But I want to see them actually make an offer, because they're saying that people are using the excuse, oh, there's no money in it. So call their bluff. Rock Nation, put some money down. If it was Al Heyman or Eddie Hearn or I don't know, Bob Arum, really, you'd think they'd make an offer. That's how it works, isn't it? I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't know exactly what goes on behind the scenes, but I haven't seen anything about Rock Nation making any offers to people for Rigondeaux to fight them. Surely that's what needs to happen now, in this situation where people aren't that keen to fight him. Make them an offer, make it worth their while. That's what I think personally. If people can give me any, show me any examples where they have done, fair enough. But I haven't seen it myself as of yet. Okay, right. In the case of Frampton, right. I've seen a couple of comments he's made, more really from Barry McGuigan, but saying just sound like excuses, man. It's it's boring. Not going to make much money. I mean, that's not really what we want. It's not going to be boring. First of all, the money I've addressed. Tell them to make you an offer. It's not going to be boring at all. It's going to be a very good fight with two very, very skillful fighters. But it does look like Frampton is avoiding him, ducking him. So this situation needs to be addressed. You you've just had a very good victory when you were the underdog. You just beaten before that an unbeaten champion. Both of them in there, like you travelled to do so. You are getting uh, respect for it. People are giving you credit, but you've got this situation like hanging over you that Guillermo Rigondeaux, you're not. Oh, what about him? Yeah, he's done this, but you still ducked him. So it's got to be addressed. So, as I say, the kind of language that they're coming out with doesn't sound too good to me, and I'm a big supporter of Carl Frampton, always have been. So it's quite easy for people to just to discredit and not really give you the respect that you deserve as a fighter. So you've got to take on this challenge. It's got to be done. I mean, I personally think that Frampton will win the fight. I appreciate most people would probably disagree with that. I think it'd be a very good fight. And if Frampton loses, then he loses. He's going to lose probably a close-ish fight to one of the greatest ever amateurs, someone who's regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? If you lose, you lose. But you've got to address this situation because it's not looking too good. And it's a real kind of stain on 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 your image, on your record at the moment. So I really would like to see this get addressed, and I'd like to see Frampton just say what I'm saying, unless they know something I don't know. But just say, yeah, okay, make us an offer. You know, he's going to take the Selby fight next, and I'm sure some people will like criticize that, but I personally, I think he could be forgiven for taking that fight, and it's a very tough fight as well, as tough in my opinion. Um, Take that if you win that, or if you lose it, just get the Rigondeaux fight sorted, or at least pressure them to make an offer because it needs to be done. It needs to be one way or another. It needs to be addressed. And at the moment, in terms of the PR battle, Rigondeaux's killing you because everybody thinks that you're avoiding him. And it does seem to be, the case. I mean, certainly from like of your team, um, Barry McGuigan has never really seemed like he wanted to let Carl Frampton fight Guillermo Rigondeaux, and I, I don't really understand it. I say make the fight. If you lose, it's going to be a close fight. There's no shame in that. If you win, people will really have to, put some respect on your name. So yeah, that's what I want from Carl Frampton. Rigondeaux, I want to see them actually start making some serious offers and trying to make fights themselves rather than just what seems to me just kind of sitting around waiting for other people to do the stuff for you. I think it seems to me that Rigondeaux recently has started to improve his the way he kind of tries to sell himself a bit. He's come to England or Wales. I criticised him before, saying that he'd lived in America for quite a long time. He'd seemingly made no effort to learn the language, which to me kind of looked like he wasn't really that bothered about putting the work in himself to really get his name out there. He's quite happy to just let other people do it for him, even when the other people seemed to be doing a terrible job. He was just sort of content to, take the easy way. That's what it seemed like to me anyway. But now he's gone to Wales. He was like tweeting in the Welsh language, which went down well, got people talking about him. Kind of quite nice, quite respectful to the people there, and it was good. That's the sort of stuff I want to see. I want to see him show more of his sort of personality. Because if you're someone like him, you're that small. You're like in the smaller weights. You're not. I personally don't think he's boring. I quite like watching those sort of fights. But a lot of people don't. They want to see like Mike Tyson just smashing people up, like a lot of people do. So if you're not doing that, and you're you're like a super bantamweight. You don't have you're not Mexican, you're not English, you're not Irish. You're not Puerto Rican, you're not American, you don't have like a traditional fan base that's going to get behind you. You've got to do something. You know, look at Floyd Mayweather. Personally, I was a big fan of Mayweather. I love watching his fights, but a lot of people didn't. Um, but he was a real character outside of the ring, and he really sold his fights. He really got people interested by what he was doing outside of the ring. So, you know, you've got to do something like that. He's never going to be like a Floyd Mayweather, but you've got to do something to kind of get yourself out, especially if if you're basically having bad luck and you've got people, you know, like HBO, etc., who kind of, you know, talked you down and really kind of a few people like put a few obstacles in your way. You've got to like try and overcome them a bit. So yeah, I mean that's what I would like to see from both the parties. But yeah, and credit to Santa Cruz and Frampton, great fight, and hopefully between Frampton and Rigo they can address this situation sooner rather than later. I've been going on for a little bit, so yeah, I'm going to cut this off now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.